Welcome to the Zachrilege cast, episode 29. I'm recording tonight's episode on a very special night with very special guests. Tonight is August 30th, 2015 for those date people. This is a little bit awkward because usually I thank my previous guest before starting, but last week my special guest was me. I did a little solo show as a test of sorts and enjoyed it. So if I go twice a week, I may just swap between interviews and chatting about myself and my favorite podcasts in the future. But even if I do 2 a week, I want to make sure that everybody knows I will keep up my semi-drunken standards of greatness. So there you go. So tonight, we have 2 guests, although we might have like 5 or 6 guests technically. But only 2 are allowed to speak because we know how it goes in the Bible. But the Penis Gallery may make a potential cameo, so we'll give them
Penis Gallery, are you there?
We're here.
They're here.
We're here, as always.
They've had a few drinks. They're ready to go.
Sweet.
We've allowed them out unsupervised for one night only.
So Misbehaving and Demand a Right are the co-hosts of the brand new podcast promoting secular feminism. The good news about the podcast title is only a third of those words are totally not offensive to anyone. This is a show in which 2 ladies with occasional annoyance from their penis-procuring partners talk about secular and feminist issues because, yes, feminism means that the battle is not over. They already have shout-outs from luminaries such as Callie Wright and Miss Ashley, so that carries a lot of water. Because it's my thing, let's do a few quotes out of context from the first 2 episodes of the show.
Let's do.
We're all intolerable ideologues trawling Facebook to make sure everyone agrees with us. I know I spend all day, every day, finding reasons to put down people with a penis, and we're hooking up a baby feet to electrodes.
Oh man, you just wait for the next couple episodes.
I feel like that's kind of in context, though, really, the whole thing here. And let me get my screens in the right place. I feel like I'm probably not staring at. Look me in the eye, people. Respect me. Anyway, so in 2 episodes, they've covered feminism, secularism, I know, softballs, masturbation, Planned Parenthood, tubal ligations, whiskey, and supernatural farts. We'll get there soon, dear listeners, I promise. So good evening, ladies, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you for having us. I can assure you that we get far more in-depth with some of our future episodes, particularly episode 3, which should be out by sometime on Monday, the 31st of August, once I finish editing it.
Excellent. So is there, can we get like an introduction for the co-host of the show? Misbehaving.
Well, I'm Misbehaving, and the name pretty much speaks for itself, but apparently I come across as the serious one.
I'm Demand a Right, and my job is to say very random things at inappropriate times.
She comes out of left field a lot. It's good. It's good.
I am the right scrotum, Mr. Right.
And I would be the left, Mr. Haven.
And then there's God giving you the shaft.
Right in the middle.
He sometimes pipes in now and then.
Well, I've heard you only need one to work to be functional, right? As a man.
Yep.
So how did this show get started? Why did you decide to get a female voices out there?
Well, my husband and I, Mr. Haven here, went looking for a secular group in the area because we actually wanted to start something like the Hickory Humanist Alliance. We wanted to find like-minded people in our area and hang out, do something like activism or volunteering, get involved in the community. And we ended up finding the Hickory Humanist Alliance. But a lot of times at meetings and things, I ended up being the only female at those meetings. So I would show up and we would talk about like women's reproductive rights or something, and everybody would be talking about birth control. And I'm like, yep, okay. That's what all women think. My opinion is the only opinion that matters among all females.
You are the representative vagina.
I'm the token vagina, and I still get referred to that as that sometimes.
Are you sure they didn't say the totem vagina?
No, I actually got called the largest vagina today at lunch. jokingly, but it's true. There are very few females involved in our secular community locally, but also as we can see from things like ReasonCon for the last couple of years, which last year was hosted by Hickory Humanist Alliance. Every time I went to the bathroom, there was no waiting for the ladies, and there was a line for the dudes, and that's highly unusual. So there seemed to be, at least from that little bit of
Anecdotal evidence.
Anecdotal evidence, yeah, that there are a lot fewer women involved in the community here, and it sucks because I like hanging out with women, and I actually tried starting a crafting group here called Heathen Craft, where I would get together with women and craft and have some coffee and just hang out.
There
But
wasn't any wine, so I didn't
there
go.
was not a lot of interest because of a lack of wine. So now we know better and are very seriously considering a naughty crafting night that involves
naughty
wine.
crafting.
Yes, that would be great.
Sexual apparatus, wine.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Make your own, do it yourself.
But also, I was a huge fan of Godless Bitches and still am, but they've not been making episodes for a long while here. And when I asked point blank Tracy Harris and Beth Presswood at ReasonCon this past year whether or not they would keep making episodes, they were like, I don't know. And they said, go make your own. And I think we both kind of got the idea from that.
And then she made me do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, kitty.
I brought Soy Cuba in here. Basically, they're running around like idiots, so I grabbed one. They don't really like. My last cat actually didn't mind being on shows because I held him, but these two are in crazy mode. So if you hear the pitter patter of little feet, that's what's up.
Oh, that's what
we
it
don't
is.
mind.
No.
That's what it is.
We're pro feline around here.
Mm-hmm.
So another T-shirt idea, token vagina. You know, I think that's one that could
Absolutely
be a big seller.
Mm-hmm.
So
especially at secular conferences.
We have a T-shirt in the works, a banana with a ball gag,
Yep. Yep.
The Penis Gallery T-shirts.
the Penis Gallery T-shirt.
Yeah, we have a lot of T-shirts we need to make.
And of course, of our mascot,
Princess Sparkle Farts.
Prince.
Yeah.
We need reverb for that. Princess.
I know.
Sparkle farts.
We're
There's
working on it.
There's so much going on here. I don't know. I could ask questions for hours just on what you just said in the last 12 seconds. So let's start with Princess Sparkle Fart. So how did you get your own kind of supernatural mascot for the show?
Magic, obviously.
Sprinkles, glitter, and fairy dust.
No, I was trying to think of, because the original idea for this show was going to be that we are Princess Sparkle Farts. And then we were like, well, maybe we won't get taken very seriously sometimes. And it won't get across the idea that we're promoting secular feminism, which is
Oh,
what our
wait,
name
we
is
have
now.
to say it in tandem.
Oh,
We're promoting secular feminism.
Yeah, that's our thing. We do plan that sometimes. But the idea was just a unicorn that flies, that farts out glitter and rainbows, which kind of turned into a metaphor about the perfect woman, how she, has to be able to fit in with women, but has to be able to be one of the guys. So like the princess versus the farts part. But on the other hand, the perfect woman doesn't exist. So of course it's a flying unicorn.
You didn't know you were going to get a critical analysis of unicorns.
I had to explain it that way so Demanda would agree to have it on the show.
I was like, only if you can tell me if there's a critical analysis to be done. Is it a metaphor? If it's a metaphor, I'm totally in.
She's a superhero secret agent who doesn't exist because she's fictional. But yeah, she's going to be great. And we have definitely talked about having whoopee cushions with her on it. So be looking out for that because that would be great.
Yeah, you got to do giveaways that are appropriate for the show. I mean, if I do anything, it'll be a beer opener or a koozie because that's pretty much, where I am. So in terms of you threw like two words in your show title that are quite controversial. So why are the words secular and feminist such dirty words?
Because people don't know any better.
Yeah, that's a good point. Especially, I think, feminism between the two of them. Although to religious crowds, especially like religious right crowds, secularism may be a dirty word. But it's not used in a derogatory manner, I don't think, nearly as much as atheist is. And that just may be, ignorance of the term secular. But feminist is definitely used in a derogatory manner frequently in our own community. And I think that's part of the point of why we're doing this, is because we're sick of not having feminist representation in our own community. And, and that's the thing
No
too.
legislation without menstruation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Darn right you are.
Did you just mansplain us?
Yeah, mansplain. Yeah.
What?
I'll tell you
I'm
what
gonna
you think.
simultaneously mansplain and
All right.
spread, which is a good thing because you can't see below the neck here, which is for everybody's protection, to be honest.
And now that we know we're right, we can carry on
Yeah.
with grace and fortitude.
Does your obvious hatred of penis mean lots of angry sex, or maybe that's a question for the fetish
I
section?
wish. Oh my God,
Oh,
that would be
wow.
amazing.
Angry
Like,
sex
we
is
just
fun.
talked about this today. Buffy and Spike and is it called the Seeing Red episode? Season
I don't know,
6?
Demanda. You're
They
such a nerd.
bring down a house, for God's sakes. That's
Angry sex
angry
is
sex.
fun.
But you have to have a reason to be angry in the first place. Otherwise, it's not that
I've
fun.
never had angry sex.
Oh
so
my
I
God,
can't-
really?
I've
You're
never
gonna
had
you're gonna say that on a public forum?
He has. He lies
But I
frequently,
was young.
which is why he can't be allowed out unsupervised.
That's why we got a bullwhip in the closet.
Right.
Yeah, I knew I was going to be a fan of the show when I think about 5 minutes in, I heard vajazzle. So, what are the other great terms for vagina that you've been throwing out there?
We keep the
Vajango.
loco out of your vajango.
The vajango is our new favorite term for
Yes.
vagina. I don't know how that happened.
And Miss
but
B, you have a song that goes along with vajango.
Vajango. Like the original
Vajango.
show theme song.
Mhm.
We need to do like a whole Vajango Unchained thing.
Thanks
Quentin,
to our Twitter follower Tom Jackson for that one, Vajango Unchained.
We did make a reference to Django Unchained in our fourth episode today. We told him that he had our curiosity, but now he has our attention. Django.
I feel like it's probably already been taken as a Quentin Tarantino movie porn parody, if there is such a thing.
I hope
Kind of
so.
scares
That would
me.
be
Really?
amazing.
Can you send us a link?
Yes, you a link. After the show, we were being very serious.
We were looking at furry porn earlier.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, we're having fun.
It was great.
Specifically, God was looking. At
God was
the
really
recording,
enjoying himself
as
over there.
always.
And furry porn.
Tune into episode 4.
That happened after the Mormon porn. I don't
Yeah.
know how we got
Yep.
from Mormon
Oh, that
porn
was
to
creepy
furry
as
porn.
shit. Ugh. That I don't want
There
to
are
see that picture
things you
again.
don't want to know.
I told her to look up Lemon Party today.
No and no.
Oh no, you need to look up Goatsy.
I'm very vanilla. Plain
So
vanilla.
these are things that I will not be including in the show notes.
We like to
Greatest
expand
show
random
notes of all
surprises
time.
here.
The goal of the show is to prove just how much I have no idea about.
As you can tell, the women are very stuffy,
Yes,
stuck up.
anything can happen on this show.
Literally anything.
Can get stuck up.
We can travel through dimensions,
Anywhere,
travel
at
through
any
time. You never know.
With glitter and sparkles and rainbows.
Someday there's going to be a blue box here, and none of us will be here.
Oh. Because it's bigger on the inside.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Wah, wah.
Oh no, there's totally Doctor Who parody porn. So let's
Of
just not
course
even go
there
there. It's hilarious.
So
I
why,
haven't ever seen that either. Sorry, go ahead, please.
so why is it hard for you to accept a religious woman as a feminist? This is something that kind of came up in your first episode.
Well, a lot of scripture talks about how women should be and are oppressed by religion, especially things like having to obey their husbands at all times, talking about how they are property to their husbands and fathers, and also, how they can be exchanged for
50
goods.
shekels of silver.
Yeah, and if they do something wrong, then they could be put to death immediately for things like having allowed themselves to be raped. And there's also the whole thing about, women can't have the same position as men in the church. And some people interpret that differently. Some churches interpret that differently. But it still says things about how women should not be allowed to do the same things as men. And I think that's complete shit.
So that was completely Judeo-Christian centric. But if we learn
The Abrahamic religions.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's scripture contains a lot of reasons and reasons to keep women down. And I think that's not cool.
Definitely not.
Preach it.
Because you speak for all women,
Everywhere at all times.
Yep.
Can you explain what is it about the fact that it seems like women are more drawn to the church, even though in the Abrahamic tradition, definitely, they're always seen as secondary?
In a lot of small communities, like the one that we hailed from, most of the social organization in the community occurs in the church. So if you want to be involved, especially with your family, your children, and activities in your community, you have to do that through the church. And I think it's just a desire for a community, for social cohesion.
And I think also, especially in the South, and this tends to be, I think, the opposite in Mormon cultures, where you see the onus of responsibility for keeping the faith on men, or in the Quiverful culture, too, that seems to fall on men. But in the South, it seems like the question of morality and keeping a family together tends to rest on the shoulders of the woman or the mother in the family. So keeping that sense of community, so having the resources within the church, like free childcare on Sunday, is a pretty big deal. Or, being able to send your kids to religious camp and things. But I think a lot of it rests on the idea that many people think that you cannot have morality without a religion. And it's just simply not true. You don't see me going around murdering people just because I don't believe in it. I do not.
Yes, your secret identity does.
Oh my God, Amanda.
No, I'm lying. I do that frequently.
God is right there. He can attest to the fact that I have not murdered anyone.
God, did you see that? You see everything. We know you do. Even furry porn.
Oh my God.
What do you think he's doing during the show? He's doing a lot of Google searches.
That's exactly what he does during every show.
Yes.
You guessed it.
He just sits there and looks up things.
The secret's out.
Yep.
Well, for me, the way I kind of connect to podcasts is the personal stories. So sadly, I can't remember who said this, but I don't know, it's the first, second episode, one of you mentioned not being able to get a tubal ligation.
Oh, that was me.
That was Amanda. Yep.
Because I had a vasectomy in 2012, never heard of people protest for losing my fertility, even though,
right.
I probably have 40 more years of it, right, technically.
Right. I have several friends who have been in the same situation, and we have decided, after much thought and reflection, of course, in a very unemotional fashion, that we would like not to procreate, and have been told by our healthcare providers that a tubal ligation is out of the question, even though all of the people in this anecdotal evidence are married and have the consent of their spouse.
Yeah, my relative
that you need that.
Of mine who was living down here at the time tried to get an IUD, which is completely reversible easily, and was not married and was still refused because she might change her mind about wanting to bear children because she was in her early 20s. And as soon as she moved back up north, had no problem with it.
We're very emotional. We change our minds often, frequently.
Yes, obviously.
We may sue you because we'll get into some type of hysteria.
Yeah.
Which is a vaginal disorder.
In 10 minutes, I'll be a lesbian.
That's right.
Who knew? Know.
Oh, that's totally been taken out of context. Boom.
Tomorrow I'll be a lesbian. You'll be quoted.
I said in 10 minutes.
In
Thank you.
10 minutes.
No, in 10 minutes.
She
I
doesn't need to sleep on
underestimated
it.
your sexual
I'm
prowess
going to set a timer.
in 10 minutes.
Be like, look at Amanda.
Boom.
You are the woman in the room, Amanda. So you'll have to watch out.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll
yes.
immediately turn into an aggressive bulldog.
Oh,
This could be interesting.
well,
It does seem that in a lot of these healthcare kind of debates, the women's side isn't really taken up so much, and you don't think about those things. Like, I don't think about birth control pills because I never had to be on them. I just had to get snipped, which was a like 15-minute procedure, and it was awesome. I was like live tweeting it. I mean, it was nothing.
Wow.
That's great.
well, if I get a tubal ligation, I'll have Miss B live tweet it.
Excellent. I can do that. I'm willing to volunteer my services.
Well, the way I remember things is based on like football. So I was like, oh, I remember when I had a vasectomy because I watched the Alamo Bowl that was TiVo'd and while I was like drooling when I got home. And I watched the movie 2012 because it was just the kind of movie you want to watch when you're all drugged out of your mind.
Oh, that's
You
a
have
good idea.
Have a bag of frozen peas attached to your nether regions. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So you have like this Hickory Alliance and you have this great thing going on. So can you move Hickory a little closer to Atlanta? That'd be really cool.
Of course. I just moved back from Atlanta, actually. I used to live in Atlanta.
Awesome. So why'd you leave? Because it's cooler in North Carolina?
Of course. No.
Not
Obviously.
even. Not even.
No, I graduated and I had to come home and be an adult and do all that adult stuff.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
I know.
It happens.
It's tragic.
That's what got me here, too, actually.
Adulting got you here?
I graduated and then I ended up doing some work on finalizing my degree down here and ended up moving in with my immediate family who had moved down here while I was at college and ended up in my mother's hometown. So that's what got me here. What kept me here is finding
Me. Just me. No. Please don't break my heart this early.
That would be Mr.
atheist
Haven.
geek from Burke County. So
Oh, Mr. Haven.
that was
Wait, are you a
highly
lesbian
unlikely.
yet? What
by the
time
way.
is it?
Oh no, not lesbian yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm working on
You
it.
have like 6 more minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
God will tell you.
8:19. I'm watching the clock.
I'm perking up my boobies just for the right moment. Okay. And Miss B has spit her water.
Not yet. Not yet. I'll do that later.
I thought guys only got distracted by that. Look at that. Where you go?
What?
That's what we get having a bi female on this.
How
podcast.
heteronormative of you.
Yeah. They brought up boobs once on a Google image search while we were podcasting, and I made the comment, how are we supposed to get anything done with all these boobies?
No, all
there?"
she did for the next 10 minutes was go boobs, 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 boobs.
I also said butts.
Butts,
Yep.
butts, butts. That's it.
We get distracted sometimes.
I feel like, yeah, if you want to get another podcast, just boobs and butts and just say that, I think it could be number 1. You got to know what the audience wants.
Yeah.
In between segments, just butts and booms, butts and booms.
Yep. That's all we need.
That's all what men need too.
Oh, don't forget the penis go. They get sad if you don't talk to them.
Oh,
Yeah.
They were feeling left out over there. Yes.
They've
Our
been
penises
neglected.
get pissed.
We're feeling
Their-
a little flaccid.
Their
over
penises
here.
are outraged right now.
They're only at half mast.
Oh.
Aw.
Well, they're going to love this next question. So
Oh,
I
penis
listened
gallery.
to episode 2, you report on Kiran Gandhi, who ran an entire marathon in her period and bled freely. And my first thought was, ooh, gross, I'd never run a marathon. So how do
Exactly.
we destigmatize this time of the month and the idea that women are fundamentally unclean?
Well, for one thing, all the PMS jokes, which a lot of PMS symptoms in some past research has shown that they just aren't real. Much of it is just culturally appropriate, so we have those symptoms
We
whether or not
hyperbolize
they
those
are
symptoms in
yes.
culture.
Yep. And I mean, not to say that we don't want chocolate pasta wine during that time of the month.
With icing.
But the Testy Totem app that we were talking about, that's gonna like warn your partner when your time of the month is coming up.
Like with little mean face penises.
That's a pretty good way to stigmatize menstruation. Shit, we don't do this on purpose. It happens regardless of whether we want it to or not. Usually, there are some medical things that you can do to not have a period every month, but
and
even
some
then,
medical things
we still
you
gotta
would like
do
to
it.
choose not to do. But
if we want to
can't.
reproduce, we have to have it. So that's it. We don't have a choice, and that's something that I
And
think
having a
people need to
period doesn't
remember.
make you a woman. Plenty of women do not have periods.
That's also true. And anybody who identifies as a woman should therefore be called a woman, regardless of whether she has experienced or will experience menstruation.
There you go.
Still,
Yeah,
it kind of sucks.
I do think we try too hard as a society to make everybody have the exact same experience. Like, no, actually, this isn't the case for whatever percentage of people. But I did like the fact that you mentioned pamper and whiskey, chocolate, pasta, wine, which I feel like a good combination for me on a football Sunday. So I'm gonna look.
There you go.
We'll
put it all
send you the
together.
recipe because that's what we do. We're in the kitchen sending out recipes.
We're going to start making gift baskets that have chocolate pasta wine in. We'll just send them out once a month.
Straight from Princess Sparkle Fart's
Aw,
kitchen
From
That's a
Sparkle
great
Farts to you.
with love and sprinkles
aw, and farts.
and farts.
Princess Pasta Farts.
Straight from her colon kitchen.
Ooh.
Ew. What? See, this is why penis gallery is a problem.
The microphone needs to be like, mute the microphone. The penis
Yep.
microphone.
We sometimes do. We
God is
sometimes
supposed
meet
to be in
them.
control of these things, and I think God is all watching porn again.
Back here watching furry porn.
Yep.
I mean, that's why I wanted to do this show, is because, the white male really needs a voice in this, podcasting world.
Amen.
Yes,
I'm
and
glad I
we're so
could-
glad.
Should
Raw men.
tell
I'm
us
sorry,
what to
what?
think.
I can't hear you because
My
of your
fingers are in my ear.
oppression.
La 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 la.
Bye.
Help,
Our friend's
I'm being
leaving.
oppressed, help.
I
Yeah,
didn't know
I
you
thought
were
it was-
called Dennis.
I thought it was especially insightful because it's something I didn't think about, that the fact that when you're donating to like a women's shelter or something, that there are certain products that you could add, not just food and stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's not
Because-
something you'd think of. I mean, even women don't think of it where you go, oh, I would need that. So obviously a women's shelter that has a bunch of women would need that.
No,
It
unless you're in downtown
Seems so
Atlanta,
obvious.
where you can trade for sanitary supplies or coffee.
Huh.
Yeah. Did you know that?
That's
Did not
the
know that.
currency around here.
Yeah.
Carry a few extras just in case.
I've had some coffee and people really wanted my coffee. I've been offered sanitary supplies in exchange for coffee.
How much does a Starbucks
You get 2
coffee
pads
cost?
for one Starbucks. And I didn't think it was a good deal, so I didn't take it.
Oh, yeah. 2 pads is not that much.
2 pads for a latte.
You can get a pack of pads for like $5.
I know, right?
Was that the pumpkin spice and was that the large, which is like 2 gallons?
Pumpkin spice pads.
Pumpkin spice pads.
That's what it was.
Oh, we're going to have a whole line of feminine
I'm
necessities.
sure that exists.
Of course we are.
I'm going to look it up now.
Pumpkin spice pads.
And now we have other images.
I mean, I am drinking a pumpkin beer, which, by the way, I don't know what it is, and this is totally off subject, but beer seasons are totally off. Like, you get pumpkin beers, which you think you get in October, in August.
Yeah, what the hell?
You're a little bit off. I'm like, oh, it's a month into the season. I just got my first one, so
Yeah,
it's,
no,
it's still
I love-
95 degrees, 80% humidity here in Atlanta, but I got pumpkin beer.
Yeah.
See, I love some Bell's Oberon because I went to school where the Bell's Brewery is, and I just every year in the spring there'd be Oberon Day. That's when spring is, that's when summer's starting. It's like the best day ever, and now I get it in like July.
Oh, beer.
Wow.
So then the season's halfway over.
Whatever.
Oh, fuck you. We've had some scotch tonight.
We have, I don't want to
very good.
brag. Yes, I do want to brag. We have an 18-year-old scotch that we're sipping from this evening.
It's so good.
Delicious.
Yeah, always new pumpkin spice scented pads were a hoax, but they still got photoshopped, so they kind of exist in some way.
We're very
or
good
another.
at the Googling here.
Yes, we are. We Google each other all night long.
And that's why we have a safe word.
Banana.
In pajamas.
I like it. The call and response is a beautiful thing.
Aw.
So have you had the pedantic response to your "see you next Tuesday" exit line on the show by saying, "But your show comes out on Monday"?
I hope so.
I really hope so, because that was the entire point. I was like, no, it's not as funny if it comes out on Tuesday.
No. Yeah.
Didn't you change it today? No. Well, you
No.
added something today.
No, I still had to say see you next Tuesday.
Oh, well.
It's my signature line.
We got to do something when we leave. Otherwise, it's just bananas and pajamas coming down
All
the
the
stairs.
time.
Then we start talking about bananas and pajamas and BDSM gear with ball
Yes.
gags. Yeah. That's another shirt. We're going to totally get
I
sued.
know.
But
We've set
tonight-
up for years.
Tonight we talked about dildos and vibrators
And fetishes.
and fetishes.
That was fun. And yeah, oh gosh, I can't wait for that dildo sketch. That was fun.
It's hilarious. Trust me.
It's a lot of coverage. So how can you give a preview? Because you do cover a lot of ground in every episode.
That's true. We
have a lot to say.
We do. And we each have our kind of our own segments. Sometimes the Penis Gallery will do some staff writing for us, particularly Mr.
Staff
Haven does a
writing.
lot
Oh,
of,
I love it.
Staff writing.
he does a lot of the comedic sketches.
The left testicle
I don't
is
need
a
a
staff
pen
writer.
for that.
And the right testicle is our PR director.
I'll have you know a little
He's
bit
the
of
one that contacted
scandalous rumor. I'm sleeping with one of our writers.
you. Ooh. I'm sleeping with the right testicle.
Oh, nice. How'd you land that one?
He's always
There's
right.
no wrong testicle.
Oh, there is.
Oh, yes.
It's the other one.
The dangly bits. The jiggleberries.
Yeah, we were arguing about who was the lower hanging one.
That would be
when we
me.
were
It's
having
Mr.
a break
Right.
earlier.
We've done the math. It's good science.
Yeah, science.
We measured, as we all do.
So are they, because you mentioned Mormon porn earlier, that's a good callback always. Is there any kind of line of like Christian related kind of vibrators, dildos? Those exist. And have you not Googled this yet? Because if you haven't, God, get on it.
I
And
haven't.
We're Googling now.
They
Christian vibrators.
absolutely do. They're in cross form, the Virgin Mary,
Shit, what? That is
yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. Virgin Mary
CovenantSpice.com,
butt
guys.
plugs.
Intimacy products for Christians.
I did research.
I'm sure it's like abstract looking and not non-threatening in this one.
They probably had the holy seed.
Man, I want one that looks like the crust that was like in The Exorcist, where she's like fucking herself with it. That would be great.
And now I have a mental image
That would be
that
great.
I'll never get rid of.
You have to have a bucket list. It's really important in life.
It is.
To have
Goals
goals.
are important. There's a baby Jesus butt plug.
No!
Wow.
And no, you can't poop, baby
Oh
Jesus.
my god, that is great.
What?
I found vibrators for Christians.
There are like multiple uses for rosary beads if you really think about it.
He found a
Exactly.
Jesus dildo.
But you
also.
have to make sure they have the right tensile strength to hold up.
See, the ones I found are all very abstract looking. They're like afterglow massager with no obvious purpose besides massaging your outside parts.
Your back, right?
Yeah. My shoulders really get tense after a day of sex.
I think in the very first episode, Miss B told us that there's a lot of people up in her vagina.
There are plenty of people in there. That's what I
Plenty of
said.
people in there.
People.
And then just cut it off.
People.
No, my favorite cut off line was when Demando was saying, so sex isn't just for babies anymore? And then I was like,
The
nope.
penis
And
gallery
then we
went
just cut
crazy.
it off.
It's just baby sex all the time.
That
around
cutoff
Just
point
all
was when
that.
we were all laughing hysterically at thinking about baby sex. Like, what the hell did you just say? Context is important, you know.
here. Sex is for babies.
Making babies.
Making
Making babies.
Oh,
Making babies.
Making
Making
babies.
babies.
Subject verb agreement.
there's always a word missing.
I just found a rubber ducky vibrator.
Squeak. E-clean.
What the hell? What happens when your kids find that?
They will play with it
They're
in the
like,
bathtub.
it doesn't squeak. It's making this weird. The fuck, Gene?
God, what have
God.
you done? God's
Whatever
the
your
master
name is.
Googler.
Did he
There is
cause
all
problems?
kinds of porn out here. Sex in Christ. A proposal for Christian pornography. Oh, there you go.
And this
Yeah,
is how
somebody's
our
masturbating with a
interviews go.
cross. That is excellent. See, the more taboo it is, the better it is. That's just, we were discussing that on the fetishes segment today.
And
On
that's why we
episode
have
4.
a safe word.
Yep.
You just have to say the safe word at any time if you need us to cut.
Shut up.
Yeah.
just sing the safe word.
Amanda likes to say the safe word.
I think it's too late.
I'm always the first one that taps out with the safe
Hey,
word.
hey. It's never too late to revoke your consent.
That's right, Miss B.
Well, that's an excellent point. So you take it all serious and stuff. And go, yes, you're right.
The more
I'll
you
just be clutching. I'll just be clutching myself in the fetal position once I sign off. So it's okay. We're all good.
She's a walking public service announcement.
G.I. Joe.
I'm just
Real
glad that
American hero.
I'm just glad God hasn't done any screen sharing on anything that he's been looking up because that would be bad.
Yes.
I'd like to say it's a
Yeah.
PG show, but seriously.
And then there would be nothing done.
Mhm.
I don't think we can handle PG.
No.
I don't think we're capable of that.
PG, we're
You did-
not pro God.
You're definitely NC-17.
Yeah. We had a 17-year-old in here while we were recording earlier today.
And he
That
had
was
to
probably
leave.
not a good idea.
And he had to leave.
Yeah. Yeah, he had to leave.
Get out now. Come back in a year.
You don't want to hear this.
So how can white males in their mother's basement to record 98% of atheist podcasts be better allies to the women's?
Oh, that's a very good question.
That's a long
is.
answer.
You could start by acknowledging that patriarchy
Islam.
and white male
Islam.
privilege is a thing.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that avoiding using the term gynocentrism would be a good start.
Or feminazi.
Feminazi, also. Accusing somebody of being a feminazi is a good way to get them to never make a dialogue again.
And never be a part of the penis club because you won't have it.
Yep. So, hey,
Oh.
all those single hot females in the secular realm who aren't hanging out with us right now, maybe they'll start if we're a little nicer to them. Maybe.
Well, and the response that I normally hear to that is, oh, what? They're so emotional. You have to be nice to them. You have to regulate your language. You have to watch what you say. No, none of that. We don't need parental control.
No, just don't be aggressively an asshole at them. And
Don't
be a
maybe
dick.
they'll want to hang out then.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a
Yeah.
dick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
ironically, that's good advice, actually.
Wise words from the penis gallery.
Have a dick, don't be a dick.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
should know enough
That's a
about
good-
it, but not to be
Good
one.
tagline for the penis gallery.
That's right.
Have a dick, don't be a dick.
And another T-shirt. We could learn much from white males.
Oh, yes. This is why we have them, because we often don't know what we're doing
If
and we
we
need to
could
be told.
only find
We
a
have
voice.
to have mansplanation every now and
If
then.
anyone
I
would
actually,
ever listen to us,
I actually had Mr. Haven mansplain the concept of mansplanation to me one day.
It was
That
very
was
meta.
very funny.
Totally true. I totally did.
ladies, that thing you're talking to, it's called a microphone.
Oh.
Oh,
What?
really? I thought this was a penis. Oh wait, I'm supposed to be a lesbian now.
Oh, huh.
Boobies,
Yay.
yay!
You're past your deadline.
Oh,
No,
And
Yep.
butts all the time.
butts. Yep. It's so fun to say. I mean, why wouldn't you? Just butts all the time.
Well, in episode 2, you talked about masturbation, which my Google Doc autocorrected as masturbation. Why
Of
are
course it did.
Yeah,
Like,
we're not talking
listening-
about eugenics on here, guys.
I'm listening to your show while I'm like mowing the lawn and I have a Google Doc open and like stopping and typing and why are you correcting everything I type? Anyway, So why are outdated Victorian norms based on bad biblical interpretation holding on in our culture regarding the pruny finger?
That's a really good question.
And the hairy palms.
Probably because not enough of us are talking about it. I mean, it's normal. It's healthy. So stop making it such a big deal and just do it.
Yeah, just talk about it more. Everyone does it. It's okay to do it. It's quite normal. And
But it's something that a lot of people feel better about keeping private. But in order to, I think, move the purpose forward of, normalizing female masturbation, we have to talk about it. And it has to be on people like us to talk about it and go, hey, we masturbate.
Hey.
We're proud of it. Cool. Done.
It is god be damn fun to do and fun to watch.
No.
No shit.
Raw
Really?
man.
really? See what happens when they talk.
Wow, the penis gallery is in, you calm them down. Just one finger and everybody's like, I'm good. I'm in a recovery period right now. It's all good.
They're fully erect now.
Yes, we are.
So would this be a good time to talk about Lauren Southern and her attack on third wave feminism?
No. Amanda's like, nope, I'm out. Bye.
I was like,
No.
will I include the link to the video and like I had this guard for spitting on the microphone. Like you need a guard to not like when you're yelling at the screen when you're listening to that video about how feminism is horrible and oh boy. At least
it's grinding my
3
teeth.
minutes.
Yeah, it's awful. I mean,
Because we don't acknowledge that men have needs. We just need to make them a sandwich.
and be
Remember, they
pregnant
have
and
needs.
I'm
barefoot
getting a
in the
little
kitchen.
hungry, by the way.
Fuck
Ladies.
you. Make your own goddamn sandwich.
Oh yeah.
It's just nice if you make him a sandwich.
Barefooting in the kitchen.
No, I will encourage people to press pause and watch that video just because it reminds me of some of the arguments about abortion or evolution where they kind of misconstrue what it actually is, and they're arguing against kind of a straw man version of feminism. Like feminists are just mad at men and they hate men, they can't ever support men, and men have issues too. But okay, that's good to know. But
And now, actually, there's a woman privilege problem. Did you know that? We're gynocentric in our culture, and women have more power in our culture than men.
I was about to say, is that a bad thing? Because why?
Because we promote gender equality.
It's like feminism is not about gender equality. Like when, huh?
Yeah, and that was the thing too, is that, all you need is evidence that we're not man-hating, penis-hating weirdos. We're both
We
married to
are
men
weirdos.
in the penis gallery who we fuck on a regular basis. So
Very regular.
it's
Oh,
not like
dear.
you can say
Here he goes
that
again.
we're feminazi man-haters, because we're sticking with them for life.
We are radical feminists.
And
kind
we
of a
stick
big
it
deal.
to them too.
We don't identify as feminazis.
Yeah.
Does anybody?
I don't know, but if they are, I don't think that we have the same goals.
I just don't think they're being educated enough to know.
But I really like the Bell Hooks quote I've read in a previous episode that says we are as real and as radical as feminists can be, but feminism isn't what you think. And by that, she means the strawman version of feminism that you were talking about.
And I also liked the mention that we had where humanists should, by definition, be feminists also.
You would think.
Because humans include females, include women.
Really, it just boils down to promoting an empathetic perspective
For all humans.
for all humans.
Well, I think in general, we don't want to be considered what people think the negative version is. Like, I don't want to be considered the negative version of whatever atheism is, but at the same time, it's like people are going to think what they're going to think, so let them do it. But there's just a lot of them, and they're really annoying, and they're loud, and they get like 5 million views on their stupid videos that say nothing. Didn't she say something about men were actually more than women were actually involved in domestic violence? And she just said it, and there was no citation. And it was just like, I think that just came off the top of her head. Like, yes, men do get raped, and men are involved and victims of domestic violence. But just to throw that out there, like, then that means what happened to women isn't as valid. Just was really rough.
Right. It's competing forms of oppression. If there is one man that gets raped, it's no longer important that we have a rape culture.
And it's similar to the argument where, like, custody battles, women are more likely to be approved for custody, where that shows just as much sexism as it would be for the opposite.
Right. It proves the point that we have a patriarchy. Women receive custody of their children in divorce disputes because they're the primary caregivers often. And if women are often the primary caregivers, then of course we have a patriarchal culture where they're being defined by their biological sex.
Where it's expected that they are the caregivers and they're the good and right caregivers.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, agreement. Penis Gallery, how you feel?
I agree. I
Yeah,
would
most
also
definitely.
like to point out that a lot of the arguments against feminism are very similar to the arguments against atheism. Very often it's the same sort of argument as like, why do you have to be so angry?
Why do we have to have labels?
Why do you have to be so
take sides?
disagreeable? Exactly.
It's
So
just not enough education in what feminism really is.
exactly.
Or atheism.
Or atheism.
Yes.
We're all devil
Which is
worshipping baby
why
eaters.
it boggles my mind that there's so much resistance to feminism and what's often called radical feminism in the secular community.
Yes.
It's like we're allies. We're often,
We want the same things, like
Yeah.
99.99% of the time.
Just
and
pick
we
up,
often get attacked in similar ways.
Yeah.
pick up a goddamn dictionary.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh.
Ooh, he said dictionary. Ooh, big word.
Ooh.
The Oxford English Dictionary.
What about the
and now-
vagtionary?
Dictionary.
Vagtionary.
That's a new thing. We're going to just define terms and call it the vagtionary.
It's the vaginary, where you can learn about herstory.
That's right. Wah, wah.
Okay, I don't know if I got enough sneak previews before. So when you kind of did a call for fetishes, did you get some good feedback from people?
You know, we didn't get a lot of people listing fetishes. We actually came up with most of the list ourselves, but we did surprise Demanda with the whole thing about women sitting on balloons and popping them fetish.
Yeah.
She was
I had
very
no
surprised by
idea.
the fact that existed, and also had no idea what furries were. So
No.
if you listen to episode 4, you can hear Demanda learning all about these things that horrify her completely.
This
Thank God
podcast
watching
is all about my sexual education.
Yes.
We're glad to broaden her horizons here.
Now there's what is it called? There's a big like Comic-Con kind of thing in Atlanta. I think it's Dragon Con.
Dragon.
I'm pretty sure furries are involved, but
There are
Yeah,
furry
there are.
parties.
There are
Yeah.
furry parties.
I was sitting next to
Are you
a
guys
lady.
going?
No, we cannot this year.
I have to
Aw.
work. It's very
Yes.
sad. I was sitting next to a lady last year at Dragon Con, and she was like, "What's a furry party?" And of course, I didn't know. Demanda never knows anything about furries.
But I did.
He did. And so he was giggling. And she goes, "Well, my daughter, who is 14, wants to go to this furry party." And I kind of look at Joey, and he's shaking his head. And I'm like, "Well, maybe that's not a thing that she should do at 14.
I said, no, don't go. Don't let her go.
But then she was looking at me, and I absolutely could not explain why her daughter shouldn't go to a furry party. I had no idea.
Oh,
and why is a 14-year-old being invited to such a party?
That's a
She
good
wanted
question.
to go. I think she was
They just had
trying to
heard about
convince her
it. That
mother.
sounds fun. Yeah, it does sound fun. I mean, I think my mom made me a Cookie Monster jacket when I was a little kid, and I wore it until it fell apart. But that wasn't that different, people.
yeah, you are wearing a monkey hat right now, though.
Yes, I am.
Is that Curious George?
It's quite warm. Actually, it's a local email company called MailChimp, and they give away hats all the time. They
I
even
was
give
going to
away
say,
little
are you curious, George?
Oh. I am. Curious.
But he really liked bananas. Do you remember that? Curious George
With
liked
Yes,
bananas.
he does like bananas.
Yes.
In pajamas.
Yes.
Oh.
See?
Now there's this whole orgy thing going on in my head.
With monkeys.
This is messed up.
Like, when is it not?
Ah, that's a good question.
So the of course I'm following your page on Facebook, which everybody who listens to this should do right now. So the totally debunked anti-vaxxer Andrew Wakefield is coming to Charlotte, North Carolina. Why are anti-vaxxers like religious people in that they don't seem to care too much about facts?
This really
Because the evidence doesn't matter because it causes too much cognitive dissonance.
And often it's like people who are otherwise in agreement with me politically, who tend to be anti-vaxxers. I have no idea where this comes from.
A lot of anti-vaxxers are educated liberals.
As well as
Because-
anti-GMO.
And they're
They
also
are very
anti-GMO.
misinformed. And frankly, I think it would be an excellent idea for the Hickory Humanist Alliance and other secular groups in North Carolina to go and protest because they're filming. And if it didn't cost so much money to get in and actually, give them money for this organization, I would totally go in and
We can
make a
make an
stink about the
encampment
amount
on
of
the
children
outside.
who have died since that guy's research was published because it's wrong and bad.
Boo.
Stupid Jenny McCarthy.
It always
Don't get me started.
it always seems like these articles come out that make these bold claims that people would like freak out, and then the article that comes out that says, "Oh, by the way, that was a bunch of crap," and then nobody actually reads that part. They're just still like,
It's
No,
just a
because
way
you only
to
look at
sell.
evidence.
part to
It's
it.
just a way to sell in the past subscriptions or magazines or newspapers, and now it's trying to get clicks on your website. It's just inflammatory
Rhetoric.
rhetoric. It's not anything to do with what the facts are. I mean, there was that whole headline about like researchers find out that something can go faster than the speed of light, and then when you actually get into the physics of it, it's crazy way more complicated than that, and nobody fucking wants to hear it.
And Miss B hates clickbait.
Yes, I do. We are against a meme culture here because we
Promote conversation.
promote secular feminism and also, I think, a culture of skepticism. I think that we should promote a culture of skepticism with these sorts of things and go, that sounds like crap. Maybe I should look into it. Because then you get all your family and friends sharing all this crap on Facebook, and they
But
don't
no, the
know any
problem is
better.
they do
And then you
this-
look like the jerk
like
for
they-
saying, no, that's wrong.
They will tell you they looked into it with no idea.
Cite your
Oh,
sources.
no.
If you say that you looked into it, cite your damn sources.
Oh, and they'll have sources, but they have no idea how to research, like how to get the preponderance of scientific opinion and where that preponderance of opinion lies.
And if they don't have any idea, then they have no business reposting that stuff. And if you correct them, they won't have any idea that they're wrong still. So
mean, you
it's not
tell-
worth arguing.
You tell someone to look something up, they can and will find a source that supports their opinion.
Yeah, until it's on Snopes. And then I just go, nope, snopes.com/blah, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, you
That's a good way to shut
snoped
people
them.
down. Yeah, I Snope
Oh,
people.
no.
If somebody posts unscientific things on my Facebook, I will shut them down.
Snoped.
Because it's fine if you want to post religious stuff all over the place, but if you are posting scientific misinformation on Facebook, I will make it a point to show how wrong you are.
Mm.
And my family and friends ought to know this by now.
So Snopes.com/blah blah blah. That'll be in the show notes for everybody if you want to click on it later, because that'll be good.
It's a good source for urban legend information and all that sort of thing.
So, Miss Behaven, do you constantly get into kind of Facebook issues with family and friends?
Sometimes.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes it's just like, oh no, Obama's going to put tracking devices in our heads when we get the new health insurance. I'm like, oh, really?
So that he can
Really?
find you to take away your firearms.
Yep, he's going to take your guns. No, I don't get that very often, but I do have relatives in the South who are religious. So every now and then that does happen. But a lot of times it's more like friends of friends of friends who, like, the friends reposted stuff. And, sometimes you really have to be careful to pick your battles. Like, there was an example the other day where it was like the shooting the other day where it was like somebody was saying, I hate it when people play the race card when the information had already come out that he was upset about being mistreated because of his race. And she didn't know the information, and she posted an inflammatory post about playing the race card, and of course got a ton of people raining down on her going, oh, you're dumb. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get into this. It's not worth it. She's not going to change her mind. She's just going to back off and go, oh, well, I don't, I'm just, nah.
I avoid all social media except for podcast related social media.
Yeah. Yeah. We like podcast social media, though. You can find us on Twitter at Secular Feminism or Facebook.com/promoting secular feminism. And we will be glad to get in an argument there. I love debating. So, let's go. We've already called out the men's rights movement like 2 times, and we've gotten no responses from them. So they're obviously slacking.
Nobody cares about us, Miss B.
Yeah. Well,
is that the MRAs? Is that what they're called?
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe if I go on Reddit, they'll start bothering us.
I had no idea. I mean,
it's rampant on Reddit. Reddit is one of the most misogynistic places I've ever seen.
When we were talking about starting the podcast, Miss B said, we really need to promote feminism in the secular community. And I said, who doesn't promote feminism? I'm like, are you kidding me?
Like,
there are people who don't know that this is a problem.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. It's like there are very few podcasters out there who are like, yay, feminism. And Callie Wright at Gavious Manifesto and Daniel Wolfsong had a very great podcast episode about how like what problems exist in the secular community that need to be improved upon, but also about what problems in the LGBT community that need to be improved upon. And one of the things they brought up in the secular community was the anti-feminist attitude.
Yes.
And anti-LGBT attitude and anti-diversity as a whole. And
we often call out the secular community on our podcast because you're our family. You're the people most likely to hear us.
We know you'll still love us after we piss you off.
You're rational, free thinkers whom we think we can persuade to see our factual information.
Based on the evidence.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think once you get into a group and you're like, well, let's talk about the problems outside of the group. And you don't even think like, oh, wait a second, we have some issues here too.
Yeah, you go, oh, Christians are bad, blah, blah, blah.
And we can all get together and agree
Religion's
on that.
Bad. Boo. Presuppositionalism is just presupposing.
No, that's not true. Atheists really like to debate. So if you put 2 atheists in a room to talk about Christianity, they're not going to agree about that either.
Yeah, that's true. We always like a good debate.
They ask them about their favorite Doctor Who or their favorite Star Trek, and then
oh my god,
3 hours.
No. I am the worst. I am known for bringing up Doctor Who in our group. Like every time, I'm like, "Hey, did you see Doctor Who? Did you see the latest episode?" Oh, okay. I don't want to spoil it for you. I'm so bad about that. I'll wear Doctor Who shirts to our group. That we have a group that meets at Barnes and Noble once a
Mr.
month,
Haven is wearing one,
and
now.
I'll be like, "Oh my god, it's a TARDIS backpack!" Ah. Oh, it's so great.
Mr. Wright bought me one of those.
Mr. Haven is
as a
wearing
gift.
a Doctor Who shirt right now. He's wearing a David Tennant shirt right now.
I've never seen one episode of Doctor
There's a
Who, so
TARDIS
do I
on the wall.
get kicked out of the atheist
Yes,
movement?
you're gone.
You're no
Is there
longer.
hope for me? Can I be converted, or can I learn?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Tell him your list of episodes. What
Okay,
episode
I
to
have
watch
a
first.
Oh,
beginner's guide to Doctor Who, and there is an episode with David Tennant called "The Girl in the
Yes,
Fireplace"
it's beautiful.
that you need to start with because it is awesome. It involves time travel and historical fiction, and that's what's so great about Doctor Who is that it's science fiction, time travel, historical fiction, but also the Doctor is an extraordinarily humanist character. He always believes in the best in humans and their potential for good and for surviving. And that's a lot of why I like Doctor Who so much. So I would definitely check that out. And also there's Blink, which is where the Weeping Angels, if you've heard of those, come from. And that's another David Tennant episode. And there's also one of my favorites, but you might get a little something in your eye when you're watching it, is called Vincent and the Doctor. If you're a fan of Vincent van Gogh, it is an incredible episode where the Doctor meets Vincent van Gogh.
What's the one with Shakespeare?
I can't
And the
remember the name of
witches.
it. But it's a really good one too. That's a David Tennant episode with Martha Jones, and they make some Harry Potter references in that one
Right.
too. So I was like,
You
oh
messed-
my god, all my nerd things are
You
coming
messed
together.
up, Zach. You messed up.
Yeah, I know. We're going for 4 more hours.
Bananas and pajamas.
They're my favorite 700
I'll have to say
episodes of Doctor Who, and I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to do all the voices and perform every episode for you because I
Exactly.
know it. Yeah, I do have every episode of Buffy on DVD, and I have Angel.
Okay,
but I
okay.
have not gone to the Doctor Who level.
You've redeemed yourself for now.
Yeah.
It just is like
Buffy
a
and
50-year
Angel.
show.
Did you watch Angel as well?
See, I haven't watched Angel.
All the way to the end. I don't have the comic
So-
books, though.
In episode 4, I discuss Seeing Red
Mhm.
Yeah, the rape
The
scene
rape
with
scene.
Buffy and Angel.
and Spike.
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 Spike,
Buffy and
sorry.
Spike.
Buffy and Spike.
Get
Sorry.
your vampire straight.
I'm sorry. I'm still thinking about Doctor Who.
James Marston.
James Marsters, not Masterson.
Sorry. Masterson?
Look,
What?
please.
Marsters. Sorry.
Please, Penis Gallery.
Sorry.
All right,
You
Penis
know
Gallery, we're turning off
nothing.
your microphones. So this is the point of the interview. Now there are 2 of you, so I may have to say you asked 2 questions. Do you have any questions for me? Besides, what the bleep's up with you for not watching Doctor Who?
We want to know what your fetish is.
Yeah, that was one question we had come up with today.
Ooh.
I don't even know if I can answer that. Obviously, it's
Okay.
not monkey hats, because I wouldn't wear them.
If you don't have an answer for that, then what is the strangest fetish you've heard of?
Strangest fetish. Well, I'd heard of the balloon thing. I think that was on like Real Sex, where they went like the girls who do like the cam shows, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, all this stuff the guys ask for, like 80% of it is like doesn't seem overtly sexual. I feel like anything can be fetishized. I haven't
Yeah.
heard of football than that yet, but since I'm such a big football fan, I'm sure there's a way to make it.
I'm sure there's a
Wrong.
way. I'm sure there are probably
Like football butt
vibrators.
plugs or
Yeah.
something?
Oh, I'm sure that's a thing.
It's all about the butt plugs. What's that?
Of course it is.
Obviously, we have a little bit of a butt
Butts
plug
are gender
fetish over
neutral.
here. Yes, they
Yes.
are.
They can all be penetrated.
As you can hear in a word from our sponsor in episode 4 from a fictional store we named Dildos, 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 and More Dildos and Anal Beats LLC outlet store. All of their products are now gender neutral
Without any.
without gender signage or assignments.
That's right.
Doesn't have to just be pink, right?
Right. Nope. All colors, sizes, power settings. We've got it at Dildos, 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 and More Dildos and Anal Beats LLC outlet store. It took me a lot of practice to get that down, dude.
It takes a lot of breath control for her.
Oh my gosh. Wait till you hear it. I'm like heaving breaths while I'm trying to breathe in between these things. It was very
But
fun.
she has
though.
a great Jersey accent.
It's in my blood. My dad's side of the family is from Jersey. So, you know, it's in there. There's a little bit of Jersey Shore.
Along with all the other people in your vagina.
All those people in there. Yep, there are plenty of people in there.
It takes a village, is what I've heard. So
She has the village people
Well,
with her.
since like 8:19 p.m., it's been only women.
That's right.
So promote thyself. Tell us about where can everybody find the show. Obviously, you can go to iTunes, but where else can you go and show your support for promoting secular feminism?
You can follow us on Spreaker. And also, we do have a YouTube video of episode 1, and episode 2 should be up fairly soon. And we're also going to try to get captions out on YouTube so that our friends who are deaf or hard of hearing are able to follow along. So you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on, again, Twitter and Facebook. Excuse me. And Spreaker.
Excellente. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for being on the show, and thanks to God and the Penis Gallery, not necessarily in that order. So
Aw.
before we sign off for
Scrub.
tonight, This is the Zachrilege Cast, the one true show that needs your support, so help me out on a per episode basis at patreon.com/Zachrilege. See how to spell it right there. And Teoti's in on the action, as well as Hugh-Man, and of course Bobby C from No Religion Required, whose equipment never fails when it matters.
Of course not.
So find me on Twitter, Facebook page, Zachrilege Cast is there. And gosh darn it, like me on Facebook, like me on iTunes. Give me a 5-star rating, because that's what we do around here. So I'd like to say once again, thank you to the ladies of the show for being on tonight. And everybody stay skeptical.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.